You may have heard something that all debt is bad debt, but we're going to look at some examples today and see if that assumption is true and if there is such a good thing as good debt. My name is John. I'm trying to grow $1 million Robinhood portfolio using margin and doing some trading strategies on here. We're going to go into buy, borrow, die and seeing how maybe there is such a thing as good debt. As usual though, none of this is financial advice. I'm definitely not a financial advisor.
Knowledge.
Now let's look at the basics of Robinhood, what you get on a margin account. On my account, I currently have a portfolio worth of $48,000, but you see over here, I have $11,000 worth of margin. Margin on Robinhood, I pay 5%, so it allows me to buy assets that can appreciate over time for a small fee. For example, we have the covered call ETF QQQI, which pays a 14% distribution rate. If I buy this, QQQ generally appreciates, and I get a 14% yield. Paying 5% for this, I get a 9% arbitrage taking on some debt. And this is the basis of the buy, borrow, die strategy, which we look up here. Buy, borrow, die is I buy assets that appreciate over time, like ETFs, QQQ, SPY, Bitcoin, things like that. I borrow against these assets to pay my bills. My margin rate is 5%. Then I die with the debt, and the assets from my brokerage pay it off. If my asset was purchased at $100 in 30 years, it's now worth $500. When I die, my heir is going to step up in cost basis, and it pays off that debt in my brokerage account, and there's no tax involved. So let's look at this idea of if there's such a thing as good debt or bad debt. My opinion, yes, there is such a thing as good debt. For example, low APY and a consistently appreciating asset. Bad debt is high APY and a depreciating asset. For example, QQQI has generally appreciated over time. Here's QQQ and QQQI, generally gone up. You get 14% holding this fund, and my debt is 5%. That's a 9% arbitrage. That can be considered good debt. What are some examples of good and bad debt? For example, credit card in the red, 20% on consumer products. I'm going to be buying something silly like this bobblehead of me. That has no value to anyone. If I put on a credit card, I'm paying 20% if I have that debt, and I get no value. There is no arbitrage. Bad debt. Car loan on a depreciating item. Yes, maybe you need a car to get around. But is this an investment if you're paying 6% on an item that depreciates unless you're a car collector and you know that cars? Bad debt. I would even argue a mortgage on a house that won't appreciate if you're viewing it as an investment. Recurring expenses, taxes is very expensive to hold a house, and right now mortgage rates are very high. You can consider that bad debt because you're probably not going to outgrow that amount you're putting in the house. That's just my opinion. Business loan, 7% on business with the ability to grow. Your upside is infinite for a business loan, so this could be considered good debt if you have a real strategic plan to grow your business. Margin loans, which we looked at, 5% on appreciating ETFs. QQQ, SPY, a world fund, Bitcoin, in my opinion, these are going to appreciate over time and you only pay 5% and you can create an arbitrage. If Bitcoin is appreciating 20% per year and you pay 5% to hold it, even through a bear market, generally you're going to do very well. This is what MicroStrategy is doing. Strategy is doing. Also, a mortgage on a well thought out housing market. If you know a special market, one that is maybe undervalued, you know how to fix hand-me-downs, if you know how to do fixer-uppers. 6% on a well thought out business plan for a market may make sense if you can get above that. So not all debt is bad debt. Most businesses have debt. Most rich people actually have a lot of debt. Why? Because they can leverage their assets to pay off things, which is what we can do in our brokerage account like Robinhood. I can have $11,000 worth of debt, have this portfolio appreciate over time. I'm going to show you something in my calculator. Earlier this year in January, I started with a portfolio worth of $13,000. And this has quickly grown to $49,000 when I put in my spreadsheet. Right now it's 48 just due to a little bit of a correction. Not a big deal. But I've been able to add this much because I've been paying my bills and buying a little bit of the extra ETFs with margin, with this $11,000 worth of debt. Because if I get to pay my bills using the margin, this 5% fee over here, I get to create an extra arbitrage holding this debt at a cheap rate. If this margin was, let's say, 15%, I probably wouldn't be worth it. QQQ grows around 15%. So there would not be that much of an arbitrage because there's not that much of a spread. But at 5% rate on Robinhood, and it even gets better the more debt you hold, 4.5%, 4.25, $1 million is kind of crazy, but you get the idea. I get more of a spread the lower my margin rate is and the higher my assets appreciate. We're going to do a very simple example. Let's say I put $50,000 into QQQI. and I get 14% on that. And let's say I hold this for 20 years. This investment is going to be worth $809,000. But let's say I did it on margin. I put $50,000 in, and my interest rate is 5% on Robinhood, like I show here, 5%, and I still hold it for 20 years. My debt is going to be worth $129,000. I didn't even put in the right year. Here we go. My debt's going to be worth $135,000. I made $109,000. My debt's worth $135,000 based on a 5% interest rate. So we can consider this good debt. The spread is huge. The compound interest really takes over for my investments if I'm allowing it to compound over time. This is the beauty with my expenses, how you can use debt to get ahead, cheap debt on things that appreciate, not things that depreciate. This is the key here. And this is the beauty. If we look into a strategy, this used to be my old spending habits. When I wouldn't use debt, when I'd only use cash. You have active income. It goes to your expenses, savings checking account, emergency fund, and leftovers, you can purchase ETFs and not purchase Bitcoin. But the question is, how much money do you actually get to invest in your income doing it like this? If you're not taking on any debt, which is fine for most people, but if you're not taking on any debt, how much can you actually purchase in investments that grow? The leftovers, and maybe that's 5, 10, 15% of your paycheck that's left over after all these things. The new cash flow, I have my active income. I put it all into ETFs. But I use cheap margin to pay off my expenses, and then I also use a little bit extra since my expenses are low, and I use dividends to pay the debt or purchase more ETFs. So now 100% of my income is invested, and now I get to play like the ultra wealthy who never sell. The ultra rich never sell any assets. Why? Because if you have $1 million, you have a ton of liquidity at any time. On my portfolio, it's worth $49,000. I can withdraw money anytime this portfolio. You can see I have $24,000 and none of it's cash. This is all money I can take at a 5% fee. Now I wouldn't take out all of this because I don't want to get margin called, of course. But I have a healthy margin buffer and I already have $11,000 worth of margin used. And this has allowed me to grow my portfolio steadily over time. Over time, 13,000 to 49,000, 48,000 right now. So this is the power of having some good debt. Again, we want debt with a low APY on assets that appreciate. And we don't want bad debt, high APY on depreciating assets. Unfortunately, in America, most of us fall in this bad debt category. If you need the Dave Ramsey approach, if you're already in a ton of credit card debt, if you can't hold off your DoorDash purchases or whatever, don't try this strategy. Don't try the buy bar die. If you're a saver like me, if you can control yourself, if you can find yourself restricting your spending, this strategy, buy bar die, may give you more freedom to actually spend. Enjoy some of your money and grow your portfolio over time. So I hope you guys learned something today. We're going to be getting into how I'm growing my portfolio. I've already added a decent amount, 13,000 to 49,000. Yes, the market's been on a rip, but that's definitely helped a lot. But we're going to be getting into how to grow the portfolio faster, how to leverage Bitcoin so you can get money out of your Bitcoin without ever having to sell it, because really that's kind of the whole point as well. But you can still use cash from your Bitcoin. We're going to be getting to a lot of these topics. But for now, you can check out this video here, a deeper dive into buy bar die, and you can check out the other videos on the channel. God bless, guys. Peace.